Thank you for tuning in to the Parma Area Chamber of Commerce podcast. We will be focusing on everything from spotlighting our members to discussing what is happening in the chamber. This episode is brought to you by Idea Cleveland. Idea Cleveland is a proud sponsor of all the efforts of our chamber. Now, let's join the conversation at the Idea Cleveland studio in Independence, Ohio.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Parma Area Chamber of Commerce podcast. I'm Chris Simon with Idea Cleveland, and joining me today is
Michael Leiner from Leiner Legal.
Awesome. So you own a law firm, but you have a very specific clientele, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about it?
So I have a disability law firm based here in the Cleveland area. Actually, we are inside of the Parma regional area, and what we do is we help people who are unable to work because of disabilities, whether it's because they were hurt at work or they got sick, or any reason that's preventing them from being able to hold a substantial job. I started the practice. I started my own practice 8 years ago after only being out of law school and working for another law firm for a little under 2 years. And we have grown quite a bit over that time, and we're very proud of that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So why did you get into this very particular form of helping your clients?
It's a great question. It's very personal to me. I'm originally from the Detroit area in Michigan, and growing up, I went to a special school for children with learning disabilities. I had ADHD. I still have ADHD. I actually was kicked out of that school because my behavior issues were so significant. As a child, I had epilepsy, which I thankfully grew out of, but even as an adult, I have cluster headaches. I have motor tic syndrome. So a lot of the issues that my clients deal with are things that I have to manage every day. And I'm very fortunate that with medication and treatment, I'm able to live a productive, normal life, but I'm able to relate to my clients in a way that's very different than a lot of other attorneys who are doing the type of work that I do. So my work is very personal to me, and that's what led me to this.
It's awesome. So it's a great story. I think it's people, when you have a background which leads you to, you're more passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do actually to help your clients?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I look at even though when people ask me what I do, it's very direct to just say we have a disability law firm. But the way that we think of our business is so much more, and it's so different than that. When people hire us, they are hiring us to help them with a disability case. That's our product. But what we're actually doing for them is getting them through a difficult period in their lives. Because when you're applying for Social Security disability, you're unable to work. And when you're unable to work, there's so many other challenges that are coming up in your life. You are struggling with medical care. How do you pay for that? If you can't work, you don't have money, so how are you paying for housing, food? Just every little thing that, when you're working and you have income that you take for granted becomes a significant challenge for you. And so my team, really focuses on those ancillary services as well and works to address those for our clients. So instead of just saying, well, you only hired us to help with the disability case and poo-pooing our clients when they have those challenges, we are very active in reaching out to our clients and saying, what's going on? How can we help you in the other areas of your life? And reaching out to them. And what that does is it, builds greater trust. And we always tell our clients, when you hire us, you become a part of our family. And it's not a line, because when we're proactive in reaching out to them to find out what else they need, they actually feel like they're a part of our family. You would call your mom and say, what do you need, Mom? How can I help you? But people don't typically say that to their law client. But it's something that we do, and it's something that we've done for a while, and I'm pretty proud of the fact that it's been a part of our growth and what's allowed us to really build an entire practice really just by word of mouth. and expand into many different communities across Ohio. And now actually over the last year, we've grown nationally.
It's interesting. So you say they become your clients now. You say these people are going through hard times. How do you get paid?
So we get paid on contingency. That's a good question. A lot of people, when they don't have money, they can't work. They're like, well, how do I afford an attorney?
Yes.
So we don't get paid unless we win a case. We don't get paid until we win a case. If our clients are approved, the government sends them a check at the end of the case that accounts for the period of time that we're fighting their case, that they should have been receiving a check. Getting disability is very challenging, and these cases are long and they're slow. A typical disability case takes about a year and a half, sometimes 2 years. Some of our cases in the office, depending on how many appeals and remands from a federal court, can take 7-8 years. But there's an accrual that comes to the client at the end of the case if they're approved. And our fee is a percentage of that. It's set by the government. It's 25% of that accrual. And so that's how we get paid. But the client never has to give us a retainer. They don't have to have money up front. And actually, the government sends us our fee, so the client never has to write us a check.
It's interesting. So basically, it's past payments that they should have received, and you're basically doing the work in the belief that you're going to be able to win this case.
And what it does is it aligns our interests directly with the client. If we're not successful with what we're doing for them, we don't get paid. So they know that every day we're going to be working hard for them.
It's great. So, I know, let's kind of walk through the story of somebody. I know, we'll use my father-in-law had a stroke later on in life. He was unable to work and everything. So let's say him and his wife would come to you and be like, hey, we're under hard times because of this. Where does it begin? How does the process work with you?
Sure. So every case, of course, begins with an application for benefits. And I'm very strict in telling my clients I don't want them to have any communication with Social Security. And the reason is, and I take kind of a negative approach to this, or a pessimistic approach, I should say, but I'm always concerned that if my clients are speaking directly to Social Security, they're saying too much. And it's not that they're, people become overly chatty. And it's not that I am, in my communications with Social Security, I'm misstating anything, I'm not lying about anything, but what I need to do is make sure that I'm giving Social Security the information that they need in the most compact and direct format possible to help them. Because Social Security, what they're doing oftentimes is looking to hear your father-in-law say that he did the dishes and extrapolate that into saying he can be a dishwasher. And those aren't the same things. Because he can do the dishes, and maybe it's just him and your mother-in-law at home, him doing the dishes for 5 minutes doesn't mean he can be a dishwasher
for 8 hours in a restaurant.
For 40 hours a week. However, if I don't then make sure that in the communication with Social Security, he explains that, well, when he does the dishes, he has to lean with his elbows over the sink, and he has to have a chair right next to him because he might fall over if he doesn't. He needs that chair there to prevent him from falling to the floor. And by the way, after he does those dishes, he immediately has to go lay down. That's why I have to prevent my clients from communicating directly with Social Security, because many of my clients are apt to just say, oh, I do the dishes. So we prevent all the communication, or we are the middlemen for communication with our clients. Most people get denied for Social Security at first when they apply, even if everything is done perfect. And that's one thing that I think is so important and that we do a really good job of, which is managing the expectations of our clients and letting them know, even when they do everything right, even when we do everything right, there's a good chance that they're going to be denied the benefits. But it's a system of denials and appeals. So don't give up if you're denied. You just need to keep moving your case forward. Okay? Even though it's a government program, Social Security is no different than Progressive or Geico or any other insurance company you see on television. It's about maximizing what's coming in and minimizing what's going out. But because there's so much more going out than there is coming in, they try and deny you and hope that you give up and go away. And the government historically has been pretty successful at that. About half the people that apply do just go away. They get a letter that says that they're not eligible for disability, and they just tear it up and they stop applying. But we file appeals for our clients, and the goal is to get them before an administrative law judge, which, as I mentioned earlier, can take a period of a year or more. And that's where historically people have had their best chance of being approved for benefits. And if we have the medical records that, to support their claim, we have been very helpful. If I can just give anybody who's listening to this that may be applying for disability a few tips, the most important thing that I ever tell my clients, you don't make your case to Social Security, you make your case to your doctors. And what I mean by that is the most important thing that you can ever do is communicate your limitations, how little you can stand, how difficult it is for you to think and concentrate over the course of a day to your doctors. Because everybody on the paperwork that they're filling out is going to say that they can't, work or that they're limited.
Hold on 1 second.
We'll edit this.
Yes.
There was a sign that said that.
I didn't know what to do. I'd never seen
Oh.
that before. I would have done it.
TV,
I'm sure you're just flicking
remote.
something.
Uh-oh.
So there was a little thing back there.
I think
Oh.
That little.
That happens so rarely.
I think I was talking
Because I
for
left
too
the
long.
TV on overnight, apparently.
Uh-oh.
I think I was talking for too long.
No. Okay. All right, go ahead. Continue with that thought.
So everybody who's filling out paperwork for I'm just going to back up a bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Everybody who's applying for Social Security is going to fill out paperwork that's going to say that they're limited and that they, can't do activities. The people who get approved for disability have medical records that demonstrate that. That's where Social Security is going to believe that they can get their best information from. So it's so important that every single time you see your physicians, you are reporting to them the symptoms and functional limitations and signs that you're having that will, demonstrate an inability to work. So that's to me the most important thing that I tell my clients.
It's interesting. So if it takes like a year and a half plus more, how do these people pay their bills and get day to day? You help them with this, right?
Well, and that's what I think has made us truly different than other law firms. There's a lot of people who do the type of work that I do. I just think we do it different because when you call other law firms, they're only going to help you with your case. And what we've tried to do is unlock all of the other solutions to all the other problems that they're going to have. I get asked the exact question that you just asked me all the time from my clients who are like, well, hold on a minute. If this case is going to take a year and a half, what's going to happen to my house? What's going to happen to my car? My clients many of them have worked their entire lives to build, assets. And now they're in a position where through no fault of their own, imagine you had a stroke or a significant back injury, and now all of a sudden these things are going to be taken away from you just because you can't continue to work and keep up. And so what we try and do is give them hope that, okay, we have, found resources in the community that we can link you with, and we're gonna take those affirmative steps for you to walk you through and walk you to these resources to help you keep your house, to make sure that you can still go see your doctors, to make sure that you can still have a Thanksgiving meal on your table. And those little things that we've done have just really, helped us, get us one step closer to the trust, with our clients.
Oh, yeah.
And
plus, those little things mean more than just doing the paperwork.
yeah,
Any lawyer can do paperwork.
it's interesting. So this was probably 5 or 6 years ago. I went back and I looked at I always look to see a list of the 10 clients that I had who had referred me the most other clients over the course of the last year, okay? And this was several years ago. But About 5 or 6 years ago, I looked at the list of the clients from the previous year who had referred the most. And on that list of the 10 highest referring clients, I had actually lost the cases of like 6 or 7 on that top 10 list. But what that tells me is that the result isn't as important as how you treat people. And when you take care of people, when you manage their expectations and you let them know the steps in their case and you treat them right during the course of the representation, the fact that I wasn't able to get them benefits wasn't as important as the fact that we picked up the phone when they called. We called them back if we missed the call. We let them know what the next step was going to be. We let them know, here's what we can do to help you. Here's what services are available in the community. All of those little things were just as important to them as anything else. And so they trusted me with their mother, brother, cousin, best friend, even though I wasn't able to do what they had hired me to do. I was able to do everything else for them. And that, to me, that just speaks volumes.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So how do people get a hold of you and find more information?
We're everywhere. You can get a hold of us on our website, linerlegal.com. We're on every social media channel that's out there. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm about to be on TikTok. We're starting a TikTok page soon. I'm pretty excited about that. You can find us, you can give us a call at our office. Our phone number is 216-282-1773. So if you have any questions, even if it's just general questions, feel free to reach out to us.
Oh, this is awesome. Well, thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we appreciate what you do to help people out. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you for listening. And don't forget to subscribe and check out some of our other episodes. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Parma Area Chamber of Commerce podcast. We would like to thank our sponsor, Idea Cleveland. Please subscribe to our podcast to be notified when new episodes are released.